Hello, you guys. I am going to be taking you through editing a shoot that I shot in my apartment with lots of gels, lots of reflection, lots of light. I shot with everything from gels to a iPhone flashlight to a sunset lamp off Amazon. So we have a lot of light going on in this situation. So I'm super excited to walk you through editing it from start to finish. So we've got our brightness all the way up now. And as always, I'm going to be editing it with the creamy preset. Let's actually go ahead though and see what crisp and clean looks like this. Let's get our temperature all balanced out because the light I was using was a little on the warm side. So let's go ahead and get that up here. I'm actually going to bring down the highlights a little because I was working with a lot of purples. I'm going to make sure that the purple is actually purple. Saturation for basically everything is going to go up because obviously this was a very colorful shoot. And let's go ahead and see what crisp and clean would look like. Okay, now I obviously love the creamy preset, so we're gonna stick with this. That is all I'm gonna tweak on that one. I actually, for this shoot in specifics, wow, that was not the right phrasing, but I'm gonna be doing heavy grain on this shoot just because I want to. I typically don't do a ton of grain, as you guys can see in the presets, but for this particular shoot, I do want a little bit of grain. So let's move on to this image next. Let's scroll back down and get the creamy preset. I even might do, let's see what creamy split light looks on this, because I don't really want to lose the detail in the shadows for this shoot. So let's go ahead and bring the exposure up here. I'm going to bring the temperature down a little bit, and I'm going to be bringing the blues all the way up, the purples all the way up, and making sure that the purples are actually purple so that we don't lose that. I don't love the orange looking that orange, so I'm actually going to bring them to be a little bit more red. I kind of like the idea of this being red and blue rather than orange and blue. Let's come in here, make sure we have the aqua all the way up. Okay, so we've taken it from this to this. This is what split light would have looked like, just one click. I'm also going to come back up here, apply the heavy grain. Okay, here we were working with a little bit of shutter drag. So let's come back in here. Let's add the creamy preset. Balance out our blues and purples. And then we're just going to make this a little bit pinker and also bring down the temperature a bit. This one, because I was shooting at a higher aperture, I'm going to actually bring the clarity down a little bit, especially because I did want this shoot to be like a little bit hazier and fun. So now we're going to bring the exposure up a little bit, maybe bring the highlights down to keep that detail, and then keep bringing the exposure up. I'm also going to bring the contrast down a little just for this particular shot since it's a little bit more contrasty with the lighting I was using. Crop that in to get rid of Anastasia's bra. And there we go, we're done with that image. And we will take all of these obviously into Photoshop later, which you can learn how to do in the Lightroom and Photoshop course. Okay, let's go ahead and add creamy here. This was some details on her skin. We are going to lower that temperature just a little, bring up the tint because I want everything looking a little rosy. Let's just go ahead and make sure that the saturation for all of these colors is up, since obviously this shoot was a little bit more colorful than just like some normal couple shoot. Okay, we are going to go on to the next. Here we are looking with more blue light, some more gels. Let's go ahead and add this in here. Even that out, and then go ahead and bring the exposure up here. Let's even see what split light is looking like. I don't know if I loved split light on this. Let's maybe even just bring the blacks up a little bit. And then for this shot in particular, I think I want everything really colorful, so we're gonna go ahead and even out all of those. Maybe even the oranges a little. I just don't want it to start looking neon. And let's come back up, lower the temperature just a hair. Perfect. So we've taken it from here to here. I also honestly love the clean black and white on this. Oof. Yeah, that might stay as a black and white, but you guys at least got to see how I would edit it otherwise. I'm actually going to do the low contrast, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Ooh, you guys. Hard to say. Maybe we'll do the clean black and white. Bring down the contrast a little so it's kind of like a middle ground of both. Both of these black and white presets are in the True to Color preset pack for you as well. All right, let's come back in here. Let's do a creamy split light on this one as well. Then we're gonna come in here, bring up the exposure. Again, we're working with so many colors in here, so I just wanna make sure everything is central, brought up to 0. Okay, now we've gotten that. We've taken it from here to here. Oof, I love this image. I'm also going to come in with this adjustment brush and just brighten up her eyes a little. It looks like I might have already gone in here earlier with an adjustment brush. All right, let's just bring up the shadows a little. I actually might even raise the contrast because I don't want her eyes to not look contrasty. I just want them to look a little brighter. Okay, so we've gone from here to here. Let's move on to the next image. I'm gonna go ahead and crop this sucker in. I kind of want it to be like half of her face. Let's go ahead and add creamy. Bring down the temperature just a little there. That might have been a little too far. Bring it back up, bring up the exposure. Again, come down here, even everything out. Make sure our purples are back to 0. All right. Now we are working exclusively with with blue gels. So this is what it would look like in black and white, which is really fun. I will probably end up delivering this gallery with a little bit of both, but we're just gonna slap on the creamy preset. And honestly, that's it. We're just gonna raise the exposure. That's it for that one, boys and girls. All right, on to this one. Let's go ahead and add creamy to this as well. I'm going to maybe bring down the contrast just a hair since it was naturally such a contrasty image. This is what it would look like with the split light preset, harsh to light, creamy blue hour, creamy black and white. Again, is super fun. Crisp and clean. This is the difference between crisp and clean on those. All right, now we are moving on to the second model. We're moving on to Nicole. Let's go ahead and add the creamy preset to this. Oh, I love this image. And if you guys are actually wanting to see how I shot this entire session, it is now a bonus in the artificial and indoor lighting course. So you can actually watch me shoot this entire session in my apartment and get talked through how I shoot things like this. So I want this to be maybe even a little bit more magenta. So we've taken it from here to here. This is what creamy looks like, just one click. This is what like harsh light would look like, split light would look like, split light. Kind of fun, honestly, on that. I'm gonna make the reds maybe a bit more red. I kind of want that to pop a little bit more. No, we're just gonna leave that orange. All right, there's that image. Now we're gonna come onto here, which I lit partially with, actually there's like 3 different lighting sources on this. We're gonna need a counteract for that. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the tint up after applying the creamy preset. We're gonna bring up exposure. We are going to lower the temperature a bit. We are going to come down into the yellows because that is how her skin is going to read because of that iPhone. So we're just going to make that a bit more orangey, and then maybe even the orange just slightly more red. I'm going to keep flipping between these though because I don't want the makeup to be changed too much from what Abby made it to be. So maybe we'll go there and we'll make yellow be all the way red. Okay, so we've been able to take it from there to there. Then we're going to come in with the adjustment brush again and just paint over that eye a little bit. So we've taken it from here to here. Let me go ahead and crop this just a little, straighten that guy out. Perfect. All right, now we are going to edit this one. Let's go ahead and grab the creamy preset. Bring up the exposure. Let's lower that temperature just a little. I kind of want this whole shoot to photograph pretty pinky. I'm gonna bring down the highlights just a hair. And honestly, with this entire shoot, I'll probably go back and just add heavy grain because I just like the idea of it being grainy. We're gonna go ahead and copy this one because I think the next one is fairly similar. Let's go ahead and paste that on. Close and yet so far. Okay, let's go ahead and bring down exposure. I'm even going to maybe bring up the tint just a hair again, just because this shoot in particular, I wanted more of a rosy feel. Okay, we're gonna make red just a little bit more red, maybe bring up our orange saturation just a hair, as well as our yellows, since those are some pretty primary colors in here. And there we go. We are good for that one. Let's go ahead and copy it just in case. Head over to this next one. Let's go ahead and paste on here. Ugh, amazing. Not going to tweak anything, but this is what the creamy would look like straight out of the gate. So not that different. We just made the oranges. Actually, maybe, ooh, you know what? We're doing creamy blue hour on this one. I kind of love the extra added orange. So let's go back and see if I like it more on this one too. No, just on this one because of all the red. Okay, that's fun. Okay, so we literally just did creamy blue hour straight out the gate. Perfect. Let's maybe just make the reds a hair more red. And we are ready to go on that one. All right, moving on to the next. So that is the literal raw, which we love. So this is what creamy would look like straight out the gate. This is what blue hour. This is what split light would look like. Let's go ahead and just apply creamy. And then we're just gonna make her real pink because I just want this to have a slightly rosier feel. So we're gonna go ahead and put heavy right here, heavy grain, and then we've taken it from here to here. All right, let's go ahead and apply creamy again right here. And then raise the exposure. Let's go ahead and bring up the tint. Perfect. And then we are going to bring up the dehaze just a hair. It's still looking a little dead. Let's maybe even see what blue hour would look like here. Yep, we're gonna go ahead and add blue hour down into the HSL sliders. Let's go ahead and add up a hair of orange, all the yellow, and then I can't decide if I want to cut her here. Don't think I do actually. Sometimes I love a good 8x10 crop, but I think we'll just bring it down a little. There we go. Beautiful. All right, let's move on to this gorgeous image. Let's go ahead and apply the creamy preset here. This light photographed super green for some reason, so we're going to go ahead and bring up the tint to 17 and then start bringing up the exposure. I am going to lower the highlights just a bit here. So we'll bring that up, bring the reds just a hair more red, again just flipping between the raw so that we can make sure it looks like the original. I'm even going to make it a little bit more magenta. We're going very magenta here. Perfect. All right, we've taken it from here to here. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So obviously here we are working just with gels, so we're going to go ahead and just apply creamy here. I'm gonna keep the highlights kind of low just because I don't want to lose any detail. Let's see what that's looking like though. Or do we want to bring the highlights all the way up? No, I kind of like the detail coming back in. All right, final decision. Here we go. Let's go ahead and bring the tint down just to see what starts happening here. I'm also, or the temperature down. I'm also gonna bring the tint up. So we're working with a little bit rosier of a red. So we've gone from here to here. I don't love the detail in the background coming back though, so I'm kind of, let's bring those highlights up and then bring the temperature down. Let's even bring the contrast down. Gorgeous. And this is what it would look like in the black and white. Oh god, that's also pretty. Ooh, I think I like the low contrast. Here's what it would even look like with split light if we wanted more detail, but kind of love the moodiness of it. All right, let's move on to this last and final image. Let's go ahead and apply creamy split light, crisp and clean. Crisp and clean kind of looks fun on that too, but we're just gonna apply creamy because that's what we've edited this whole session with. So raise the exposure. Let's bump up this tint. Perfect. And then I'm just gonna crop this in a little bit. Right to there. Let's bring down the highlights a little. So we've taken it from here to here. Maybe even bring down this exposure a little. And then grab this guy, just bring up over here just a hair. I'm also going to lower the clarity one stop just because I wanted this session pretty hazy. So there we are. There is this whole session, and you can find the link to the presets below as well as a link to the final gallery if you want to view all these photos. Please tag us in whatever you use the presets for, hashtag EdenStrader presets. I would love to see your work. Thanks so much for being here.